Ever since the final race in Abu Dhabi last season, there's been an air of unsettlement between Hamilton and Verstappen. The FIA investigation admitted that human error cost Hamilton his win, but somehow the seven-time world champion has not acknowledged his rival as the champion in 2021. The investigation led to a series of rule changes in Formula One and even the sack of the race director. Through all of these, several speculations have risen that Hamilton has still not accepted Verstappen as the winner of the 2021 season. Christian Horner mentioned that he cannot recall a moment in which Lewis Hamilton has called attention to Max Verstappen's talent in Formula One. It's no news that the two drivers were engaged in a season-long battle for last year's World Championship, with the Red Bull driver passing Hamilton on the final lap of the season in controversial circumstances, ending one of the most hotly contested seasons in Formula One history in dramatic style. Several on-track collisions punctuated the year as it progressed, including a high-speed crash on the first lap at Silverstone, which saw Verstappen hit the wall at Copse, registering a massive 51G impact in the process that led to him having to be assessed in hospital. Verstappen also ended up on top of Hamilton's Mercedes when the two tagged wheels through the first chicane at Monza, and tensions between the pair grew as the title fight intensified. In comparison to his wheel-to-wheel combat against Charles Leclerc this season, Horner believes there is a different style of racing between the two given how long they've competed against each other, compared to the champion-challenger dynamic with Hamilton. However, he does not remember a moment when the Mercedes driver has complimented his rival for his talent. He said, "You know, there's a difference. There's perhaps a different respect with Charles. They raced each other since being kids, and there was a mutual respect. I've never once ever heard Lewis recognise Max's ability. And so, of course, there was just a bit more needle to it, and you can feel that, you could sense that between those two drivers." Horner said that Verstappen was not in awe of Hamilton or afraid to race him at close quarters last year, and the Red Bull team boss added that Hamilton deserves full respect for the career he has forged for himself. But the battle appeared to get personal at times, with Verstappen and Red Bull criticising Hamilton for celebrating victory at Silverstone while he was in hospital, with the Dutchman saying later in the year that his opinion of the seven-time world champion had changed for the worse through 2021. Horner also thinks the battle became a psychological one as well as an on-track tussle. He said, "I think arguably maybe more so in Lewis's head, because he's the seven-time world champion that has everything to lose. Max is the young kid that's taking the risks, that's throwing everything at it and got nothing to lose. Some of his overtaking last year was stunning, and you felt that started to rattle Lewis, I think. It was high-stakes stuff and your emotions run high, but it probably affected Lewis arguably more than Max, because as I say, he's got more to lose than Max. Max had everything to gain." Given how heated things got between the pair of them last season, it is perhaps unsurprising to see neither of them be particularly emotional in praise of the other, with the title at stake which eventually saw them head into Abu Dhabi equal on points. The tense words went both ways through that time though, and Verstappen received particular criticism for how he raced wheel-to-wheel with Hamilton last season, allegedly pushing the Mercedes driver off track when fighting at Interlagos, alongside their several instances of contact that punctuated the year. The only time Hamilton had praised the Dutchman was after the Eiffel Grand Prix back in 2020, where he said, "He's such a great talent, he's so fast and consistent, so it's not easy to beat this young up-and-coming champ. Going into next year, it's a similar car to what we have, so I think we're going to see the closest racing possible between us two and our team in the next 12 months. Heading into the new season, though, he said he was glad that things were back to normal between both of them and agreed that they have a lot in common. So far this season, also, Hamilton has been the slower driver between the two of them, sitting 6th place with 168 points, while Verstappen has stayed up with 335 points. A clear 116 points off the second place Charles Leclerc. Perhaps Hamilton will give due praise after the Dutchman emerges victorious at the end of the year.